I was just at Pony Finals this weekend in Lexington, Kentucky, and I just have to say to everybody in Lexington, Kentucky, you are the smartest people on the planet, because that is the prettiest place on earth.
Every great city has a great downtown, and Lexington has a lot of the components of a great downtown, and really the level of energy and activity has increased exponentially in the last several years. There are great restaurants downtown, in my opinion. There are night spots. There are new residential developments.
I've had several people who've come to us, either colleagues or other consultants or clients who've come to Lexington. They've all remarked about the unique feel of downtown Lexington. And I think that everyone kind of inherently recognizes that we have a very walkable downtown. We have a very kind of small scale, human scale downtown. We've got neighborhoods and residential already very close up to the core. And so I think preserving and enhancing and expanding that feeling of scale and compatibility and comfort is what the guidelines are all about as well.
Lexington, Fayette County is an incredibly special place, and you know, we did pioneer the way with an urban services area and a growth boundary, and we have this incredible endangered rural landscape that really has put us on the map internationally as a destination. And so now we have an opportunity to really rise to the occasion and create a downtown as special as its landscape that surrounds it.
Today, we're globally competitive for jobs. So the quality of place, quality of the environment, quality of life in a place like Lexington is really incredibly important when it comes to inviting people and selling them on living in our city. So all of this goes together. At the end of the day, excellence in design is about excellence in economic development and growth and opportunity for our city.
We do know that change is inevitable. So we should steer, we should be the captain of our own ship. And we can determine how change occurs, because we know that is what will happen. Everything will change.
What we see in the images from 100 years ago is that there was a real respect for the laws of architecture and for the laws of good planning. There was a respect from neighbor to neighbor on these issues. So when we're looking today at reactivating our urban space, our urban core, our downtown, we're really thinking intentionally about how to do just that. You know, not to replicate what existed 100 years ago, but to imaginatively and inventively create a Lexington that is equally as inspiring in the 21st century as it was at the turn of the 20th century or the 19th century.
If you look at the urban development history of Lexington, and you look at, for example, figure ground maps of Lexington, you see where there was a marvelous density 150 years ago, even 100 years ago, and that downtown density has been diluted, and we've now got holes in the urban fabric.
I see huge opportunity for greater density. That is where the downtowns that succeed and thrive are dense, but they also control it and they do it responsibly.
One of the things that came up many times is the enormous potential for infill when you look at downtown Lexington, and how few of the sites that are there have any design oversight whatsoever. You know, the courthouse overlay zone has been successful in a small part of downtown for a decade, but we really need a new process and a larger impact area to be successful going forward. We talked at length about a specific site on Mill Street and how it could be almost anything at this point.
I have no idea what we might have in that space, but I know that it can be part of a burgeoning downtown that can be extraordinarily vibrant and continue the path that we've started.
Probably one of the things that is encouraging about Lexington is its potential, even more so recently because it's actually become aware of the importance of design value. I think design excellence has certain characteristics about it. It has to be iconic. It has to be transformative, meaning that it has the ability to actually make a difference and transform a city or an area or a community. There is no question about it. The downtown is sort of the heart of a community. The community is only going to be as healthy as the downtown is.
You know, for the most part, our downtown really is wide open. An easy way to see this is to look at the study we did on building heights on that same vacant site on Mill Street. From a design perspective, when you look at what's possible right now, it really is everything from a single story up to 50 or 60, both of which would be out of scale and out of context with the area. So I think it's important that we acknowledge not only building heights, but all of the other complexities of downtown design.
An example would be a street. A street is more than just something that cars go down. A street is also, there's sustainable issues associated with the street. It becomes a place where pedestrians walk. It becomes a place where trees should be planted because it protects those pedestrians. It becomes a place where cafes can have curbside dining, that storefronts play a role in it.
What's important about the Design Excellence Task Force is that it really has examined these issues carefully and thoughtfully, in a way not to put constraints on what we do, but to liberate our thinking and our imagination.
My guess is the greatest challenge that the task force and any future effort will have to face is striking the right balance. At some level, it's not so much about all the details and prescribing every material, etc. It's about ensuring that that space that we all share works well. And so I think if we can create a common, even playing field for everyone and be clear about what our aspirations are and then translate that into some relatively specific, pragmatic guidelines, it's for everybody's benefit.
The critical piece of design guidelines is not necessarily the way in which they're written, but much more the way in which they're executed.
What I've tried to tell people is anytime you are looking at an additional either layer of regulation or layer of requirements, no matter what it is, there's going to be some resistance. It's hard to make people do something they don't want to do in order to get to do something else they really don't want to do. So one of the things we've got to do is encourage development, and so hand in hand with any kind of design oversight mechanism, I strongly believe we need some really good concrete incentives.
We must, as a community, set the stage, make it easier for developers to do the right thing, promote design excellence while also promoting downtown development incentives to keep this momentum going.
I think we've begun to realize the necessity of the preservation of our farmlands and the necessity of having Lexington be Lexington and not try to be someplace else, that we don't need to mimic anyone. We can create who we are for ourselves. And that's also the necessity of taking the lead on planning and taking the lead on design so that we are not thrown about by the winds of change, but we ourselves can direct our future.
I think we all asked ourselves the question, what are we really trying to achieve here? What we're trying to achieve here is truly design excellence. So what started out as a committee that was really going to borrow from other communities to sort of create sort of our template has really turned out to be a process of creating a template that, if we're successful, can actually be used by other cities in terms of achieving design excellence themselves.